In this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to start your backpacking. This complete guide walks you through all you need to know, like the top 10 essentials, shelters, sleep systems, clothing, footwear, backpacking tips, and more, so you can have your wonderful backpacking trip. Let's get started with 10 essentials of hiking. Number 1. Navigation. Navigation can include a paper map of the area you plan to travel in and a compass. It can also include digital maps on your phone. If you bring your paper map and compass, make sure you know how to use these tools ahead of time. Number 2. Insulation. This is the second most important thing on the list. No matter the season, conditions on the trail can change at any instant. You won't want to be in a situation where you need warmth but have no material. So always prepare for the unexpected by adding base layers, a warm jacket, or a waterproof layer. Number 3. Nutrition. When you're on the road, you need to be well energized. You'll need your strength to get you through the journey. Always carry at least one extra day's worth of food just in case you get stuck out on the trail longer than anticipated. Ideally, these should be those you don't have to cook, don't need water, and have a relatively long shelf life, something non-perishable. Number 4. Hydration. This is another important tip for your survival. Knowing the availability of water sources along a trail is an important part of trip preparation. If you have reliable water sources along your route, you can save weight by bringing less water with you as long as you have a filtration or treatment system. Number 5. Sun protection. UV protection is key when you're outdoors. If you're traveling in an exposed area, you'll want to make sure you protect all of your exposed skin with some sort of sun protection. Some forms of sun protection can include sunscreen, sunglasses, or sun protection clothing. Number 6. Illumination. I classified this as a basic rule when hiking. In case you ever get stuck out on a trail at night, you'll want to have some sort of light source with you. You could use the flashlight feature on your smartphone, but a headlamp is the preferred choice for most backpackers. Number 7. Fire. Fire is important for heat and cooking most times. You can't depend on natural sources for fire. In case of an emergency, you'll want to have something reliable that you can use for starting and maintaining a fire. This could be a disposable lighter, stormproof match, or fire starter. Number 8. First aid kit. Accidents are inevitable for your safety. It's a good idea to carry a basic first aid kit, including bandages, gauze, and a tourniquet. In case of more severe injuries, such as those that might require evacuation, you should carry a communication device like a personal locator beacon. This will allow you to call for help even if you're out of cell range. Number 9. Repair kits and tools. You would need easy and accessible handy repair tools, bringing items like a multi-tool, scissors, knife, duct tape, cable ties, screwdriver, pliers, and little shovel or trowel. Yes, you can use tools to slice apples for lunch, but they're also handy for first aid, minor repairs, building fires and shelters, and other random things that come up. Number 10. Emergency shelter. You can never be sure of what might happen outdoors, so it's also a good idea to carry a shelter item in case of an emergency. This could be a tarp, bivy sack, space blanket, or even a large trash bag that you could fashion into a makeshift shelter. Those are the 10 essentials. Now let's move on to other requirements for a backpacking trip. Backpacks. A successful backpacking trip starts with a good backpack. When choosing a pack, one of the initial factors to consider is its volume, determining how much space is available for your gear. The appropriate volume depends on the duration of your backpacking trip and the bulkiness and weight of your gear. For beginners, a range of 50 to 70 liters generally suffices for trips lasting up to 5 days. Durability is also an important factor to consider in your backpack, particularly if traversing brushy terrains with potential snags. Shelters. Most shelters for backpacking fall into one of 3 categories: tents, tarps, and hammocks. Tents are the most commonly used shelters on trails due to their offering a balance of weight, price, and ease of setup. To save weight, only pick a tent that sleeps as many people as you need. Next up, tarps. Tarps are a lightweight alternative to tents that can be a good option for experienced hikers who want to save weight while still having a shelter to protect them from the elements. Hammocks are a fun and lightweight alternative to previous shelters. Using a hammock for backpacking will require 2 stout trees to anchor to. Sleep systems. A common backpacking sleep system is a sleeping bag. It needs to be warm, packable, and lightweight. Another sleeping system is the quilt. Quilts are becoming increasingly popular among backpackers as they tend to be lighter and more affordable than traditional sleeping bags. A quilt is essentially a sleeping bag without a zipper, and is designed to be used with a sleeping pad, which helps to prevent drafts. Now to the sleeping pads. Sleeping pads provide both cushioning and insulation for warmth and comfort at night. Pads that work best for backpacking need to have a balance between durability, packability, and weight. Clothing layers. Carrying layers either for a day hike or a multi-night backpacking trip is essential for more than a few reasons. Having the proper layers allows you to regulate your body temperature no matter what the outside temps might be at the moment. Breathability is at the core of outdoor activewear. Layers need to be made of sweat-wicking materials that pull moisture away from the surface of your skin, keeping you warm and dry regardless of how hard you're hiking. Natural materials such as merino wool and synthetic materials are ideal for activewear. But steer clear of cotton as it retains moisture and takes a long time to dry, so once you sweat in cotton, you'll be soaked the remainder of your day or night. Footwear. Now let's look at footwear suitable for backpacking. If you want the maximum protection and a shoe that will last potentially for thousands of miles, go with a hiking boot. But the disadvantage is that they're heavier and require more energy to hike with. If you want the best option and are okay with getting new shoes every 500 miles or so, go with trail running shoes. They're lighter and more springy than hiking shoes, but if you're bushwhacking off-trail, trail runners are probably not the best bet. Hiking shoes take the best elements of hiking boots and trail runners and combine them into one. They're lighter and more comfortable than hiking boots, but generally offer the same level of protection. Food. Next is one of the trickiest parts of a backpacking trip: food. Whether you're cooking or not, one of the most important things to keep in mind when planning your backpacking meals is the weight-to-calorie ratio. You'll want to choose foods that are high in calories but low in bulk. Canned foods, glass jars, and other heavy items should be avoided. Instead, focus on non-perishable, lightweight, and high-calorie foods because the average backpacker burns at least 3,000 calories per day hiking. Now, you shouldn't make mistakes other beginners make in food storage. You should properly secure your food and toiletries in a bear box or cable. Food storage is not only important for your safety and comfort while backpacking, it's also vital for the safety of the wildlife in the area. Water treatment. Next, let's cover water purification and treatment. The water treatment method used by most backpackers today is the water purifier and filtration systems. There are different types of this, which include the pump, gravity systems, and drink squeeze filters, but the most used is the drink-through, squeeze-through water filters offer versatile options for water treatment. The most widely recommended filter is the Sawyer Squeeze. It weighs 3 ounces and is priced at $40. It involves squeezing dirty water through a filter into a clean container. But if you're not able to invest in a filtration system, you can bring water to a rolling boil and continue to boil for at least 1 minute. It is important that you can filter your water to remove bacteria such as Giardia, Cryptosporidium, and Salmonella that can cause extreme illness very quickly. Hygiene. Moving on to hygiene, it's not uncommon for backpackers to postpone bathing until they return home. However, if you prefer staying fresh on the trail, here are some options. A swim in a body of water, especially on a hot day, can serve as both a bath and an opportunity for trail laundry if you have your clothes on. For a more thorough wash, find a secluded spot away from water sources, collect water, apply soap, and rinse off. When nature calls for pee on the trail, ensure you're at least 100 feet from water sources. Ladies may find products like the Shiwi or the Pee Style helpful for a convenient and discreet experience. For number 2, maintain a distance of at least 200 feet from shelters, campsites, water sources, and the trail itself. Use a trowel, a trekking pole, or any suitable tool to dig a 6-inch hole for burying waste. Electronics. Now, let's talk about electronics. First, to conserve your battery power on the trail, you can start by putting your phone in flight mode. This will prevent you from constantly searching for your service when there's none. When not in use, consider turning off your phone. But if you're a picture person and you want to use your phone for taking pictures or videos, put it on power save or low battery mode. At night, you can turn off your phone completely to save power while you sleep. Backup battery packs are a viable option when it comes to charging your electronics on the trails. One of the benefits of using a backup battery pack is that they're reliable as long as you make sure to get a good quality brand. First aid. There are several injuries you can sustain on your backpacking trip. They include but are not limited to foot issues, blisters, plantar fasciitis, chafing, cut and scrapes, and joints twisting and spraining. For the treatments of these injuries, ensure you take with you a first aid kit that includes moleskin, a loco tape, along with gauze, butterfly strips, super glue, and antiseptic wipes. Your first aid kit should also have medications such as Neosporin, antihistamines, ibuprofen, antidiarrheals, and Tums. Additionally, hand sanitizer, tweezers, a knife or multi-tool, needles or safety pins, a bandana, and an emergency blanket are recommended. Having a personal locator beacon with you on your backpacking trip is also important. Bad weather tips. Before starting your first backpacking trip, make sure you check the detailed weather forecast for the duration of the trip. Pay close attention to any storms, cold fronts, heat waves, or storm conditions that are predicted for the area. Remember that weather conditions can change quickly, especially in the desert and mountains. Even if the weather forecast calls for clear skies, bring a rain jacket or extra layers just in case. Camping basics. Now to the camping basics. Before embarking on a backpacking trip, start with thorough research on the designated area. Determine if camping permits are required, especially in national parks. Familiarize yourself with food storage regulations and grasp the specific rules governing the chosen camping location. Campfires, while enjoyable, require careful consideration. Confirm whether campfires are allowed in your backpacking area and assess the current conditions. Even if permitted, evaluate the wind and other factors before deciding to have a campfire. Practice the I leave no trace principle by keeping to existing trails and used areas on popular trails. Camp at least 200 feet from lakes and streams. When in relatively untouched areas, try to camp on durable surfaces like rock, gravel, dried grass, or areas that won't leave an impact. Dispose of waste properly, pack everything out, that includes apple cores, banana peels, etc. There you have this ultimate guide discussing all you need to know for your backpacking from the 10 essentials, gear, and basic backpacking tips. If this video was helpful, consider to subscribe and press that like button so more people can find it, and you may want to check the video showing up on the screen now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.